Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Dallas ISD Bond 2020 virtual community meeting for the replacement school for W.H. Atwell Law Academy. We're excited to have you join us today, and I'm going to pause now to allow our interpreter to give instructions in Spanish.
Hola, buenas noches a todos. Si desea escuchar esta reunión en español, seleccione la opción en español en la parte derecha inferior de la pantalla, lo que es el icono del mundo. La opción en español no es compatible con el Chromebook. Le recomiendo entrar a la reunión utilizando su teléfono celular, computadora PC, iPad, tableta o laptop. Gracias.
Again, thank you for joining us for tonight's virtual community meeting on Bond 2020 Replacement School for the W.H. Atwell Law Academy. We're so excited to have you join us this evening and to share with you the great information we have coming out on this amazing school, this amazing building. We're going to start the meeting today. If I know that some of you're joining us in one of two ways, either on Facebook or on this Zoom call. If you're joining us on Zoom, there will be an opportunity after the presentation to make any comments, to ask questions, either in the chat room, or if you use the reactions button at the lower right-hand side of your screen, you'll be able to raise your hand, go off mute, and ask the questions directly. We value community input and look forward to hearing your voices as you react to the wonderful design of this new replacement campus. If you're joining us on Zoom, we welcome you to also share your thoughts, your comments, any questions you may have as comments in the Zoom, on Facebook, and we will get those asked and answered as well and shared tonight. This meeting is being recorded and it will be shared following the meeting on both our website, www.dallasisd.org/the-new-Atwell. And also it will be shared, of course, on the Bond website and at Facebook as well. We still have a number of people joining us on the Zoom call, so I'll continue to let people in at the waiting room. We don't want to we'll just move forward with the wonderful presentation. But first, let's recognize the principal of this great school. Ms. Whitfield, if you would like to bring greetings at this time.
Yes, hello everyone. I apologize, my camera is not working. I am toggling and trying to get it to come up, but just want to say greetings to everyone and thank you guys so much for being here. Your input is valued. Thank you.
Thank you so much for everything you do today, that you're doing to educate and to uplift our scholars in the Atwell community. Your leadership and your perseverance is certainly appreciated. We also have the executive director for this particular school and others joining us as well. Ms. Wiggum, would you care to make any comments at this time or opening remarks at this time?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much and happy to see everyone. Hopefully everyone's staying warm in this cold weather. I just look forward to seeing the updates and progress that we're making so far. I'm happy again that we have such a wonderful plan for Atwell Middle School and happy to see everyone this evening. So thank you so much.
And thank you again for everything that you're doing to support our principals and our scholars and our learning communities across Dallas ISD. We appreciate the efforts you're putting forward. This school is indeed fortunate to have one of our most active and diligent trustees in the form of Trustee Joyce Foreman, who serves as the voice for the community and for equity across Dallas ISD. Trustee Foreman, would you care to make remarks at this time?
Sure. Thank you very much, Jackie. And this is a very quick remark because I certainly want to get into the presentation. I think the community wants to hear all the great things that will be going on at Atwell. And I'm certainly interested in looking and listening and learning. And I'm really excited about this opportunity for Southwest Oak Cliff, for a brand new school, for a middle school. This is great. And thank you very much.
Thank you again for everything you do every day to support our schools, our scholars, and the community, keep the community involved, engaged, and informed. Bond 2020, as you know, is the largest bond package to ever pass in the history of the state of Texas. This effort is being led by none other than our Deputy Chief of Bond and Construction Services, Brent Alford. Mr. Alford will come forward now and set the tone for the day's meeting. Go ahead, Mr. Alford.
Hey, thank you, Jackie, and thank you, Atwell community in Southwest Oak Cliff. This has been a great experience for me and our design team and our project managers. We don't always get to share our work with the community in such a transparent way. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this process as well. We heard from your big ideas. And I think these architects have really captured, and you're really going to be wowed by the presentation you're about to see. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Roberto Ramirez with WRA to kind of take us through the slides. Roberto.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for that. It is my immense pleasure to present to you the design that we have come up with over the last few months. We've had a team of dozens and dozens of people, including staff in our office and engineers that have been involved in this and paying attention to this. In the past 3 community meetings, Seth has been leading the discussions. He's not able to join us tonight, so I, again, get the great pleasure of sharing the great work that our staff and consultants have done. First thing I'm going to do is go through the agenda for tonight. We're going to go over the big ideas that we discovered in the first meeting that we had with the community, and go over some of the things that we learned in the second and third community meetings as well. And then we're going to go through the final design concept, including some plans, the color palette that was selected, and especially the renderings that we're going to get to show you guys and where we have ended up with all of your input. And then lastly, we're going to look at the schedule for the project. The big ideas that the community came up with in that first meeting is, as you can see here, the bold, innovative, and generational ideas. The community wanted the school to be technologically advanced. They wanted a community school, and they wanted the school to be safe. That's very laudable here. And this is, again, just an overview for those of you just to kind of get a snapshot of what it looks like right now. As you can see there, that number 1 with the red outline is the existing school. The number 2 is the parking lot. 3 is the portables that are out there. And 4 is the church that's in the corner. And 5 is the elementary school that's on the same plot of land. And number 6 is the area that we're proposing to build the replacement school. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention here too is that between the 2 schools, between the elementary and the middle school, there's that ravine with a lot of trees in it, and that really drove our design and drove our focus as far as the new design of the school. So we'll be looking at that here too. The takeaways from the first community meeting were, as shown here on the screen, the access to natural light was very important. The safety and security, of course, the flexibility, future adaptability, connection to outdoor activities, having the school being able to be separate from public and private areas in the school, and critical adjacencies and separations. Loud versus quiet spaces was also important to separate. And then vehicle access, again, that safety factor, bringing cars off of the street and traffic off of the street. In the second community meeting, we again learned some more information from the community. The community wanted access from the South Road from Riddleston and no traffic on Regatta. So we took all of the drives off of Regatta. They wanted equal sized classrooms and an area for community engagement, a shared walking trail, some green spaces, and some character to the neighborhood, adding character to the neighborhood, and utilizing the views to the green space, which again is that kind of ravine between the 2 schools. They want a competition gym and a law courtroom and classrooms. In I think it was the third community meeting, we came up with some options for 2 options to look at. One was a red scheme and one was a blue scheme. Really, well, actually, before I get to the colors, there was one design that was more of the technological design look and the stately design look. And you can see here 100% of the people that voted wanted to look at the technologically designed school. So that's what we focused on. And then the final design concept is what you're looking at here. So this is what we came up with, and the organization of the school is very much to have an east-west orientation, so that the north of the school, as you can see here, you're going to see in some plans, that the north side of that east-west bar is facing the north side. So you have a lot of good north light, no direct harsh sunlight on that side. We're pushing up on the north side to have the bus drop off around a football field. And on the south side, we have the parent drop off and pickup, which is the red arrow that you can see there on number 3. And then we have all of the parking there for staff and visitors on the south side. We do have some parking on the north side against the drive next to the field as well for activities, and if there's activities going on in the field, that there's some close parking lot to that area as well. The number 4 there is the service yard. So we put that in the interior of the site so that it doesn't face any of the neighbors. And on the west side, next to Regatta Lane, as you can see, we don't have any drives, but we do have some kind of hardscape areas and some entrance. The blue arrow, by the way, is an entrance for the special ed classrooms that are on that side to make it close access to the buses. This is gonna just kind of go through some generic schemes for the floor plans. This is the lowest level of the site, which I'll go back to the site here. This ravine kind of slopes down, and there's some retaining walls that kind of go down. So you can kind of see here, this is again the low part of the site. And as we go to the floor plans, you're going to see the art room that's at the very low end, and the dashed line that's here, which will be more evident when we look at some renderings, is a covered outdoor area. And again, you can see the gold bar here is the classrooms. This is where we have the north light. All the glass on the north end of the site is, and then we have the athletics on the left, this blue area. The kind of lavender area is the performing arts, and the yellow area is the cafeteria. And that's where we, again, focus some views out on that direction so you can get a better idea. The red arrow, again, is the main entrance, and above the main entrance, we also have the visual arts here as well. And let me step back here for a second. On the main entrance, we do have a secure entry vestibule in here, again, trying to address the concerns of the community. So we have secure entrance for the school for visitors, and we have a metal detectors at the athletics entrance, which is on this side. And we'll show you that in some of these renderings and perspectives that we'll show you. Again, the 2 stories of classrooms, so that's the gold bar across the top, and the library, which is right above the main entrance. As I mentioned earlier, the color palette, we also had an option for that as well. And the color palette that the community chose was the cool palette, or the blue palette. The other option was the red. And so we chose to continue that in our elevations and our renderings. And this is our palette. Essentially, we see the metal panel, the blue and the gray metal panel. We have the brick, of course, which is the majority of the building. We have this ribbed metal panel, which is going to be at the fly loft of the auditorium. So the area that kind of sticks up above the stage is going to be this metal panel. And then we have, of course, the paint colors, and then the masonry that you can see here. There's some split face on the exterior and some burnished on the exterior as well. And this is the first kind of wow picture here. This is where we kind of see the whole site. And I'm going to just stay on this slide for a second just to kind of talk through some of these things. Again, you can see the parking lot, the main entrance, when you come drop off, is coming off of the right side, off of Reynoldston. And you're basically driving right next to this new football or baseball field, excuse me. And then you can see where you can kind of come down the street here and then make a left and drop off against the school, the lane against the school. And there's 2 lanes there. There's a drop off lane, and then a second drop off, and then there's a pass through, a pass by lane, so that we don't hold up any traffic against when you're dropping off. And then you make the loop around the parking lot, and then you exit out the same drive that you came in. So you enter off of Reynoldston and exit to Reynoldston. We do have a lot of light poles here. You can see this is the intent is, again, to have a very well lit parking lot and a facility so that, again, it's safe at night. And as you can see here, also our idea is to have a fence around the school, again, to make it secure for the students. On the back side of the school, which you can kind of see where the football field is over there, where the buses are, that again is for buses to kind of come in and then drop off. So they'll just make a loop right up against the 2-story classroom wing, right up to the back door. And so there's a door that's centered here in the back, which we'll see later on. And then it'll again come back out to the street up at the north. The blue element that you see here at the front, this is to draw your eye to the main entrance and draw your attention to the main entrance and make it attractive. I know there's some issues with a lot of people dropping off, parents dropping off at the street, and the intent here is to make this more approachable and easier to kind of a more desirable way to kind of approach a school and drop off the kids at the school. The blue bar that goes across as well is intended to cover the 2 entrances. There's a main entrance, which is the one that's straight in line with the main drive as you approach. And then there's another entrance over here on the left of the blue bar that is the athletics entrance. And that one, again, is used after hours, and it has almost equal weight, but the way that we looked at this, which you'll see in the next slide here, is to kind of have a progression. And the idea that you see all the vertical bars there, the vertical fins, if you will, is kind of a shade structure for the building. And the pattern of that is determined by the concept that we had when we approached this, is the progression, how something kind of speeds up and slows down. So the progression of, again, from the old to the new, the progression of, this being a school of importance and the technologically advanced design that we were going for, and we're really happy with it. So we hope the community is as well. And again, the purpose of the bar is really to address both entrances, to say, okay, there's athletics, but here's also the main entrance, and tie those 2 together. The other thing that you can kind of see through here.
Can I ask a question, please?
Absolutely.
Okay, so from the perspective that you're showing right now, and I'm kind of not good spatially. So am I assuming then that the row of classrooms are going to be directly behind the W.H. Atwell Law Academy sign? Is that where, I'm just wondering about the view. Will it be obstructed by, or are the classrooms on the back? I guess I'm not really.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Let me kind of explain in this view where we are and what we're looking at. So the classrooms themselves are this 2-story bar in the north side and the back side back here.
Oh, okay.
And then that bar is connected to the front by, of course, there's a main corridor, and then there's in the center here is the kind of the jewel of the school, which we considered the law classroom to be, the mock classroom or the mock law courtroom. Yes. That's here in the center. And the cafeteria is off to the right, off of that elevation, which we'll look at in a second. But yeah, when you come in the front door, you're basically flanked by, on the left side, the athletics. So you'll have your gymnasium, and that's why we have the athletics entrance right here. And so really, this is a lot of blank brickwork back there. So there's not any windows or anything to obscure.
Thank you.
And that's also part of the secured entrance, the secured entrance and vestibule that will lead into the administration area. And I think that later slides will actually show that and break that out a little bit more, so you'll be able to actually get a better concept of where we are. Yeah,
absolutely. And then on the right side here is the fine arts. So this little gray block that's popping up, this is the fly loft for the stage that's above, that's higher.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Okay, we have a culinary arts program. That was one of the things that we talked about keeping. Is there a kitchen and classroom area for that program to continue? And also, is there an area for our track and field program to be able to practice appropriately?
Okay, Roberta, before you answer that, I'm going to ask everyone, please hold your questions until we finish the entire presentation. Some questions will be answered in the presentation, so if you just give us a few moments. And I saw the comment, the questions in the chat room. We will ask those as well. But if you could just hold for a few minutes, let them complete the presentation, then we'll open it up for questions and answers. Okay, go ahead, Roberto.
All right, fair enough. Thank you. Thank you, Jacqueline. Let's see, we're going to move forward. So this again is the athletics on the left, and then the auditorium on the right. And then if you look straight ahead, you can see the glass there. And above the administration, which is kind of shielded and kind of protected back behind is the fence, is the media center or the library. So that does have a view from back there and kind of a protected view. This is a view of the athletics entrance, again, kind of a close-up view, so you can kind of see where that relationship is and how you kind of walk in. The fins, the vertical fins that you see across there is also a nice way to have some kind of a visual play on the light and shadow as the sun kind of moves across from one side to the other. And then this side is the main entrance, which again, you can kind of see a little bit closer here, that there's the media center glasses back there. And again, it's very shaded and protected. And it's really more desirable to have it back there just so that it doesn't get direct sunlight, but the fins still allow a view from inside of there out. And again, the other thing, looking at it from security and a safety standpoint, is that all that glass that you see straight ahead there is the administration building or area, so that they have a full view of everybody that's approaching the front door. And this is a night shot, same area. And again, it's going to be lit up and be attractive here as well. You can see we have some lights across the top to light up that hallway and make this very, very attractive at night, very pleasant to look at as well. So from here, we're going to step into the main door on the right-hand side, and we're going to go right to the heart of the building. And we're kind of went in and turned around, kind of did a 180 here. On the right-hand side, down the right, is the main entrance that we just walked in through, and then to the right of that is the administration area. And this is kind of what Jacqueline was talking about. In that glass door, there's basically two walls of glass that you walk through, and that is the security vestibule. So as a visitor, you come in there, and then you can't get into the main hallway. The only door that's open for you to go into is to go straight into the administration, and that's where you go in and you check in with the admin. And then they will let you come into the school through a different door than these. So these two pairs of doors that are in line in this glass are intended for like exiting, or when you're able to freely walk through in the morning or in the afternoon when school is released. But when school is in session, this inside door, the vestibule, is locked, so you can't come inside directly. Stepping, kind of looking at the rest of the image here, we have on the second floor, there's this cube that's kind of floating up there. This is actually a conference room or a small kind of collaboration room that is a part of the media center upstairs. We'll go up there in a second and get a closer look at it. But that's again, just kind of a visually interesting piece where there'll be some students collaborating up there and working on some projects. As a visitor, when you come in, that's kind of the first look that you get of a classroom and of the students actually being active. Straight ahead there in this area is the, as labeled auditorium, is the auditorium. And that is one of the doors that goes into the auditorium. It has a little recessed vestibule, and we'll look down that hallway in a second. And then on the left, of course, this stair that's going up is going up to the second floor of the classrooms and also to the media center. Let's see, stepping back towards the entrance again, you're kind of getting a view now of the jewel. This is what we call the jewel of the school. This is the courtroom area, the courtroom, mock courtroom that we have. Again, you can see the stairs as they go up and around. And then if you kept going on the second floor straight ahead, and you can kind of see it there on the first floor, is where the classrooms are. So you walk in there towards where the glass is on the left, and you'll be able to go right into the two-story classroom, either to the left or the right back there. So that's your primary access to the classrooms over there. On the right-hand side, where you see the Atwell logo, that's the direction to the cafeteria that we'll go down there in a second. But this is basically the heart of the school. This is the intersection of where the auditorium is on the right, the courtroom up there straight ahead, and then to the left is the athletics, and the classrooms are down the hall. So this is where the intersection is, the main intersections. Same location, kind of turning to the left a little bit more. This just gives you an idea of the potential that we have there for like a LED displays there in this corner. Again, still in the same intersection of the main corridors here. So from here, we're going to go upstairs and go into the library and kind of get a look at what it's like up there. I'm going to stay here for a second because it is a lot to kind of take in. But you're basically standing right above the security vestibule, right above the main entrance, and you're looking back towards the library, and you can see there's a lot of variety in ceiling and material, and the way that we are able to look down to the main corridor and across to that little floating collaboration area. That's kind of, again, right overlooking where the jewel of the school is. So transparency, everybody can see kind of where you're going, and again, very open. So the next shot I'm going to take you to is still in the media center, but looking to what's behind us here. So this is the view of standing over there by the front door, or over by the entrance into the library, and you can kind of see through the fins and kind of look out past and beyond. That's basically all open view that way. So very spacious, and we tried to use a lot of the school colors, the blue, and in some areas we have some red in there as well in the cafeteria, but we tried to use the red very sparingly. So stepping back down to the lower level, to the first floor, coming back down the stairs, this is another little collaboration area underneath the stairs. I just wanted to show you that this is something we're looking at. We're looking at every little nook and cranny that we can use, even under the stairs, maybe even stepping up a platform underneath the stairs so that kids can sit, and a lot of students learn in different ways. Some of them need to spread out and kind of lay down, and some of them can sit up and write on a glass marker board, or present on the TV display there as well. A lot of different variety here. So again, kind of going back to the main intersection of the school here, and this time I want to go to the right, and we're going to go down actually, before we go down to the right, I just looked at the next slide. The next slide is the courtroom. So we're going to walk straight into the courtroom. And again, this is the mock courtroom that we have spent, like I said, we had some interior designers spending some time on this and looking at this very closely and trying to make it as special of a place as this needs to be for a law academy. So again, a lot of like a wood look, panels and lighting, and very, very dramatic. And it's also glass. I mean, as you're walking, visitors coming in, it's glass, so you can see all the way in. You can see out, of course. Again, just something to be the school can be proud of, and the students can be proud of as well. So we're going to walk over to the logo, and this time we're going to go into the cafeteria. So the cafeteria is stepped down a little bit more because, as I mentioned earlier, that ravine that's between the two schools is kind of sloping down. So we are sloping the school floor down as well, or stepping it down here as well. What this gives us an opportunity to really have a bigger volume in here, and you can see here that we have some steps where not only stairs but some kind of stepped seating coming down here, some terraces that can be used here. To the earlier question, we don't have any renderings of the kitchen right now, but the kitchen in this view would be to the left and on that wall. So if you continued to the left here, it would be down that direction. So in this view, we're looking back towards the courtroom area, towards the jewel of the school. So in the next view, I'm going to turn around again, do a 180. And this is where you really start to see how and where we focused our energy and taking advantage of that view. So again, we're kind of stepped up on the top of the terraced seating and looking straight out. And again, just taking advantage of much of that view as we can. So a lot of glass. Incidentally, here on the left too, you can see some glass to some of the classrooms. So there are classrooms, and this is basically the wall of that 2-story classroom bar. The classrooms that are facing this side get some, we call it borrowed lights from this all the natural light that's coming in from this window over here, and just getting some more distance views from being in the classroom. So there will be some visual communication back and forth. The next view, I'm going to take you out to that outdoor area. So again, this is intended to have that indoor-outdoor connection, some outdoor spaces that can be cafeteria space, can be eating space, can be project space where maybe a class can come out here on a nice sunny day and still have some shade cover. And you can kind of see here that we are somewhat elevated here because the slope still continues down here, and you can see on the right-hand side and the left that we have some ramps going down and some stairs going down. And the next view is I'm going to take you out a little bit more and turn around a little bit. So now I hope you can start to get to see what this is really looking like. So we've got the cafeteria back there and the way we just walked out of, and then this covered dining area right next to it. And then we start to terrace down, almost like an amphitheater feel. So we have some stone terracing coming down here with some synthetic grass, low maintenance, trying to make it as low maintenance as possible. Some very, we don't know what the planning on here is going to be yet. The plants, we don't know what that's going to be yet, but something kind of, again, low maintenance and very, very easy to take care of. And then on the right-hand side, this is the classroom bar that we were talking about. So a lot of glass. This is the north side of the building. So a lot of glass. You're not going to get a lot of sun on that side. And then we turn that corner with the glass as well. The lower, we call it, it's not really it's the level 1, maybe like level 0, but it's the subfloor here. In this level, we have the art classrooms, and you can kind of see here that all this area down here is covered outdoor area that they can use to do projects, or they can, again, use to do some other work, or if there's classrooms or science labs up here, they can come downstairs and use that space as well. If even on a bad rainy day, it's usable. And then you can also see here that there's steps going back up. So this is a step back a little bit farther. And now you can start to get a sense of how much slope there is on this site, and how much fun we had with using all that slope to our advantage. It makes it very attractive and makes for a really nice progression. And so again, the idea is to have all the classrooms with as much natural light on this side, and have, again, the separation of the students from everywhere else by having a security fence. So they'll have some area that they can kind of go into and use, but still be protected. Next, I wanted to take you over to kind of spin around to this side over here and start to look at the back entrance, or the bus entrance, if you will. So here's the drive as you're coming in. There's a drive that comes around, and this is going to be the door that takes you into the classrooms. And classrooms are, again, left and right here. This is a shaded area for some students if they're waiting to get picked up on a rainy day. They'll have at least some area that they can wait for the bus as it comes closer to them, or just risk it and get a little wet, start running. And then from there, I'm going to zoom out a little bit more and around. And again, you can kind of start to see the relationship of the school to the site and to the street. Our intent is to really still be separating the drop-off for special ed even. So that's what you see back here. This is an entrance specifically for special ed, very close. Their classrooms are right here, right away on the ground floor. So they don't have to go very far and don't have to go up or down any steps. We have ROTC, which is back here, and then they have a marching area that's out there for them as well. Again, we also have some fencing around the field so that we don't have any stray balls kind of rolling out into the drive, or students running out and getting in the way. So that's pretty much all I have on the renderings. The next thing I wanted to show is just the schedule, and this is a very tentative schedule at the moment. So we're looking at issuing drawings later this year, and then going through construction, which may take a couple of years, and then opening sometime in 2025. That is all I have. I hope that was not too fast and that was very instructive, but if there's any questions, I think I can take them now.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And again, we want to make sure that we have opportunity for everyone to participate. I am monitoring the chat and also Facebook Live. So if you're joining us on Facebook, and we do have quite a few people out there on Facebook joining us, you can submit any questions, comments, or thoughts you may have as comments on Facebook. We'll get those shared as well. And in the chat room, we have, first, let me tell you, on Facebook, a ton of thumbs ups, a lot of people who are very happy with hearts going on. And one person really was disappointed you didn't use the red, but we remember the community's conversation and the educators' conversation about the triggers with the color red and the color, the psychology behind using blue over red in educational environments. So, but we do have that. But David Freeman, we did hear you. So the first question we have, and I'm going to shoot this. And thank you, Ms. Hinton, who said the school is absolutely beautiful. The question about the Culinary Arts program, Mr. Alfred, I'm going to shoot that over to you. The question was, are there going to be a kitchen and classrooms for their Culinary Arts program at Atwell?
Yeah, we're still exploring the program, the interiors of the building with the principal, and we're going to meet with the different academic departments. Right now, this was really about the concept and the exterior and the site circulation, but there's still some work to do on the interior. So the team will meet with the principal to flesh that program out.
Let's talk about that a little bit more, Mr. Alfred. Again, we've had several, I think this is the 4th community meeting we've had to get the community input on that, but this isn't the only input that we received, correct? We do have steps beyond this to continue the conversations.
Yeah, to continue, like I said, this is very conceptual at this stage. Our next stage, we'll be going into construction documents, which are highly technical, and also having small group meetings with the principal, as well as the city staff to talk about the engineering and the permitting process. So now that we have buy-in from the concepts, from what I'm hearing from the heart comments we're getting on Facebook, I think it allows us to go to that next step and meeting those small groups and program with each academic department, from fine arts to athletics, and it kind of really define those spaces. I know we have some maker space and that Law Academy, great job on WRA for that. They kind of carried that legacy, but we're gonna continue to vet this program.
Fantastic. And the track program as well. We had questions about the track program as well.
I did see the comment about track 9 middle schools. We do not include tracks in our ed specs or our TDGs for middle schools.
Okay, and again, yes, we see you, Ms. Whitfield. Yes, for SEL. Great comment. We're gonna have to be able to do that. We do have another question. Can you go back to the site plan? We have a question about the direction of the front of the school. It will be facing Rendleston, but could you go back to the actual initial drawing?
Yes. Yeah, the front of the school is facing Rendleston. So this red arrow right here, this is the main entrance for the school. The secondary entrance is in the back off of Drury Drive. Okay.
Can you advance a couple of slides here that showed, just a couple of slides, go forward with a couple of slides to kind of show, I think, that long shot of the front of the building you just passed?
This one?
Yes. So you can see there that actually Regatta is on the left. And please do, and forgive me because I do not know north, south, east, or west. I am from Dallas, and we don't go by directions like that. But this is the view of the school from Rendleston, and you can see there's a parking lot in front of the school. So if you can kind of think of where the existing school is now, it kind of sort of gives you, this is the new, will be the new front of the school, and to the left is Regatta, so it's still facing Rendleston. We have a
step in. I think it's important to remind everybody on our very first meeting, we talked a lot about the site and the orientation of the building, and not to change the traffic pattern as much as possible. So it's still facing the original street with the same address. That was important to the community.
Right. And also it allows us also to be able to redirect that traffic onto the site itself with that large entrance point. If you go back to that previous slide, we can see that one a little bit more clearly.
To the site plan?
Not at the site plan. This will stop right there.
Oh.
As you can see coming from Reynolds, you can see how that allows that traffic flow to come off of the school and to be able to go into the new entrance of the school, and also alleviating some of the traffic within the neighborhood itself. We do have a comment. I see the comment with the question about the Culinary Arts program. I'm going to defer that, I believe, to the Principal Whitfield or Executive Director Wiggum. If you could answer if one of you can come off and answer the question, is why would the school have culinary arts and that field of study does not match well with the economy in Texas? I don't know if that's something you want to take offline, if you can kind of just give an overview of that.
Yes, ma'am. Well, first, let me say this. Our first objective is to align completely with Carter High School and what Carter has to offer. It is our primary feeder. So law and law enforcement is certainly what we are wanting to ensure that Atwell offers first and foremost. Also technology, as well as just STEM altogether. This is something that we do have currently at Atwell, the Culinary Arts. It is not a primary focus. It is a subsidiary focus. Also, our feeder elementaries really address the performing arts. And myself, as well as our trustee, have talked about that and making sure that we are aligned perfectly with that. This is something that we certainly would like to continue to offer if we can, but it is not a primary focus for Atwell at this time. I'm going to ask Dr. Wiggum if she wants to add or have anything to say to that.
No, I concur with the principal, and we are trying to definitely match programs as Atwell moving to Carter High School as well. So it is a subsidiary, but not the main focus. Of course, law is the main emphasis at Atwell. So yeah.
Okay, thank you for addressing that question. We do have another question about the design of the buildings. This will go back to you, Roberto or Josh. Lots of amazing windows to allow sunlight. Will the campus also have a built-in storm shelter?
So yes, it is going to have a storm shelter. It is going to be in this location right here in the athletics gym. The PE gym and the athletics gym are going to be the storm shelter. So that's what I'm circling here. It's the high volume areas.
Okay, great. So let's just do something right quick. Oh, you're quite welcome for getting that, and thank you for asking that question. I'm going to do something right quick. We have a reactions button down here. If everyone could click on the lower right-hand side. If you're enjoying the design, if you like the design, if you just give us a thumbs up or a thumbs up or a heart, just to let our architecture team know, oh, look, thumbs up coming up. Okay. Give us a thumbs up or a heart so we can show exactly how we like this, if we're liking the building. Sometimes our architects don't get a chance to hear kudos from our communities. We'll make sure that we are capturing that as well. I'm not seeing any other questions coming in. Again, I'm just getting thumbs up. Also on Facebook, give us thumbs up or give us a wave or give us a meme or something, or a GIF to show us how you're feeling about the design of the new Atwell. I'm not seeing a lot of other questions coming in right now. We do have another one coming in. Thank you. With the school being outfitted with will the school be outfitted with the latest safety and security technology, cameras, et cetera? Mr. Alfred, if you want to address the security, we're putting in our new schools.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, in the bond, we have a separate package for safety and security. We're coordinating with the architect, and yeah, we're bringing the latest safety and security cameras, as well as secure vestibules to the school.
Wonderful. I'm giving the opportunity again for any other questions. Thank you. How many parent parking spaces are included? And I think instead of parent parking, let's just say visitors parking. Do we have a count on the number of parking spaces for visitors parking in the front of the building?
I don't have an exact count here, but the intention, usually that would be the front row right here. That would be closest, just to, obviously we'll have the handicap spaces here as well, but there will be some spaces out here. I don't have an exact count of how many are separated exactly for parents or visitors.
Okay. And there's additional parking there's several different additional parking, correct?
Yeah, we've got parking right up here against the fine arts, and there's parking in the back over here by the field. You can kind of see them there down the drive there. So there's several opportunities for parking here.
Okay, good. And again, you said that so the one by the field actually allows access if you're having practices, whatever, parents can pick their kids up there, or if there's other activities going on. So let's be able to, for the parents to be able to more easily access their kids in the areas they're going to.
Correct.
Okay. We do have, Mr. Alfred, can you provide a little bit more detail about the security packages that we're putting into our new schools, or actually all of our schools?
Yeah, it's basically security cameras, domes, pan, tilt zooms, as well as fixed, and security access cards, basically.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Right. Okay, trust, right, I don't see a whole lot of other questions coming in at this point. So we're going to pause now. Mr. Alfred, if you want to give us next steps where we're moving from then, you already covered some of them. If you could share kind of next steps where we are now.
Ms.
Yeah.
Bell, Ms.
Oh.
Bell,
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
before Mr. Alfred goes forward, I just have a couple of questions. I was trying to allow the
Awesome.
community to ask their questions first before I ask a few questions.
Okay, certainly, trustee.
Yes, the first question is, I like the attractiveness of the cafeteria, but how many students can be seated in the cafeteria? Because, you know, that plays into the planning for the school in terms of their lunch periods. So have we
Oh
taken?
my gosh, Trustee Foreman, you must be reading my mind. I have that same exact question. Thank you for asking that. You are so right. Thank you for asking that.
So Josh, I'll need your help on that one. I don't know exactly what the numbers are. Josh is the one that's obviously more in tune with that. So
what I would say to you, if we don't have the numbers, is to work with the principal and the executive director to ensure that that space is adequately used, because I know you have the outside space and you talked a little bit about maybe cafeteria space out there, but during the inclement weather, that is not preferable for
Absolutely.
cafeteria space. So I would really like for you guys to work with the principal and the executive director in trying to make sure that that's an adequate space, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Our intent would be to have 100% of the capacity be indoors, and outdoors is just overflow or any extra space.
So,
And if I may add-
Mr. Ramirez, what my concern is that where they might schedule two cafeteria periods or two lunch periods, and you might only have space for one. So I want to make sure that the principal and the executive director is involved in that process, so we can make sure that as they schedule lunches and things that's an adequate space, and we don't come back, Brent, and have to revisit that at a later date, because we know revisiting can be a real problem. So I would rather see that taken care of up front. Then the other thing, one of the other
Trustee Foreman, if we could for a moment, Josh, do you have the a capacity for that cafeteria right now?
I'm getting the number
Or
for you
does-
right now. I'm counting the tables real quick so I can get you a number.
Okay, so we can get you that answer. We can get that answer tonight, Trustee Foreman. And
No,
also,
I don't really have to have it tonight. My preference is that they work closely with the executive director and the principal to try to ensure that space is adequate for their needs. If that,
I'll get with Principal Whitfield to make sure that we are on the right track with that. Thank you.
yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Then another question is, what I couldn't ascertain is exactly how many entrances or exits do we have in the building?
So we have two primary, of course, the front and the back.
Yeah, I know the vegetable, but
Right. So we have, let me see here. We have one at each end. So there's one at this end of the where the special ed is. Of course, there's a hallway that goes down the center. And then there's an exit on this end as well. There's an exit from the cafeteria. There's exits there's another corridor inside of here that comes out to the south over here by the service yard, or not by the service yard, one by the service yard, and then another one out between the band hall. And then there's another corridor down here between the gymnasium and the locker room. So there's plenty of, we're gonna have plenty of exits around.
yeah, and that's my problem. We do have plenty of exits, but we've struggled with making sure, Brenda, you know this as well as I do, struggle with making that the cameras are put in place and the security is put in place at the time of construction or reconstruction. And so through this process, I would love to make sure that becomes a priority because the security, the vestibule is fine. but that's not the issue. The issue is those other doors.
Mhm.
And so I'd like to make sure that you guys are also working with the executive director and the principal regarding those particular and exits to the building. So that as we go through the process, the security is in place and we don't have to come back and try to retrofit other.
Yeah, we're also gonna work with the police department. They're gonna do a design review. We call it like a 50% stand-up design review.
Yeah, but Brent, the police department just got this on their radar. It's basically been in construction. And so I want to make sure, basically in the bond department, and I want to make sure as we go through the process that we don't have to come back and revisit this. I love the rendering. It looks lovely. But you know, you can have on a pretty dress.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm just saying, nothing negative, but being factual.
Yeah, fair enough.
Gonna want that security already in place and they're not gonna come back to me and beat me up and say it didn't happen. Because then if they come to me, then I'm gonna come to you.
I know. I'm gonna make sure. Roberto
Trustee Foreman, I understand, because even hall monitors is based on the size of the building. Because
yeah.
now the allocation is based on how many kids as opposed.
Yeah.
So we'll need security to
The
monitor.
security is very important. I mean, the bricks and mortar is beautiful, but the security is also important.
Absolutely.
Last question.
Go ahead, Trustee Foreman.
Can I ask one more question? Do I
Yes,
have the
ma'am,
time?
always. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am, always.
So I noticed the rendering of, is that a park on the side? And nobody really talked about what that was. And I'm curious as to how that's going to play out between the two schools.
If you can go to, I believe the shot that we need to see is kind of the aerial view, that site plan. I believe that's the one that shows both schools.
Yeah, it's this one right here. All right, so yeah, we have at one point
Yes.
we showed a walkway or some kind of pathway. It's kind of undetermined right now. There's some that don't show that, some that do show it, but we know that there's some concern in regards to students kind of coming across now that these two schools are a little closer.
That's where I am.
Mhm.
Middle school and elementary school children sharing the same plot.
Absolutely. We do have a fence separating the two so that we don't have that mixture, and we're looking at modifying this view. And the other perspective we had, we did away with all of these sidewalks in the middle and trying to limit access.
Okay, so I personally, Brent, would like to be kept abreast of how that piece is going, because I don't want any situation that might be adversarial to the elementary school students as opposed to the middle school students.
No, I agree. And I'm gonna work with the team. And like I said, we're gonna update this view, show the fence. And we kind of talked about it a little bit internally yesterday to eliminate some of these walks. So
Yeah.
I will update you and I'll keep you updated.
All right, thank you very much. And you guys did a great job.
Okay, thank you, Trustee. Okay, we do have a couple more questions coming in. Capacity of the campus. How many? What's going to be the capacity for students in the new school?
Josh, you're gonna have to help me out with some of these numbers. I don't remember these exactly.
850.
850. Thank you.
850. Okay. We have another question about security. Would the security packages include door detectors that are connected to cameras that automatically photo or view anyone that enters and exits the building?
We're not there yet. I like that idea. I mean, we're gonna get with a technology consultant. They're gonna kind of advise us on the camera locations as well as the security functions it has. But we'll note that and bring that up.
And the other suggestion is that maybe those also be connected to iPads or to iPhones that can then be monitored from wherever they are in the building.
Yeah, if you'll send me you seem like you're familiar with it. If you'll send me the specs on it, you're saying they connect to iPads. I'd love to share that with our consultants.
I've actually put an email address in for our general email address is Dallas is bondcoms@dallasisd.org. So you can send it there and make sure we get those over to the correct person. And I think I mistyped it.
Okay, Ms.
Okay,
Bell,
correct.
I didn't really have a question, but I did have a comment.
Mhm.
Some of the things that are being asked tonight, it may not sound or seem really important or significant, but I want to talk about how important the question that Trustee Foreman asked, something as small as how many kids can fit in the cafeteria. She's absolutely right, because it will determine whether we have to have 5 different lunches or 3, or it really, really will lock logistics for us if we don't know ahead of time. So that is super, super important. So if you can let us know and follow up with me as well as the trustee, but that is a super huge logistical issue that we definitely need to be able to address. If we can have 2 lunch periods as opposed to 4 or 5, something that small. Also, some of the things that Mr. Poole has raised, and I guess who would I need to speak to ensure, I think some of this technology is already out there to ensure that we do have that cutting edge technology available to Atwell. And as the trustee said, not having to retrofit anything, us having that from the very beginning.
I think your PM is going to work closely with you and update you as we progress. Like I said, we're not done yet here. We're still, we want to meet with you and your teams, make sure we have our program and some of these details are met and you are answered on those questions. I'll share that information with the trustee, but I really want my PM to keep you updated throughout this process.
Okay, and also, so you'll know the next step of the process as well. And I'm going to apologize if we're having any breakup. We are having a little bit of instability with the internet. So if not, we'll make sure this is being recorded so we'll know what's going on. There will be opportunities. The program manager from this point on will be working very close with you and with your ED to ensure that those questions are being answered, those things are being addressed. It'll be drilling down into the very minute details as far as selection of different technologies, different programmings, furnishings, everything. You'll be working very closely with them over the time period between now and when the project actually lets for bid. And even beyond that, that's why when Mr. Alfred has spoken about having the stakeholder meetings and having meetings with academics and those type of things, you of course be intimately involved with those as well and actually be working very closely with them throughout this process. But let me go back to Josh. Josh, were you able to calculate the number for capacity of the cafeteria yet?
Yeah, it's about 280. So it's about a third of the projected student population. So we've got about 850 students. That's what the school is designed to hold. And we can, right now, with the approximate furniture layouts that we have right now, it's about a third of the student population.
So three lunch periods.
3 lunch periods. So with that, okay. So if that
but we can absolutely continue to work with the principal, trying to figure out what the best solution is for them. Yeah.
And those are interior seats, not exterior. The exterior seats are kind of like a bonus area.
That's all interior seats. Yeah.
Right. Those are the bonus areas maybe the principal may use to reward some of your students. They can go out during lunch and those type of things. But those are all interior seats and does not take into consideration anything on the exterior of the building. Okay. So with that, Mr. Alfred, again, do you want to kind of walk us through where we go from this point forward?
Yeah, if we'll go to the schedule slide. I think I'll talk from there. Yeah, as you can see, we plan on bidding the project in the winter later this year. So from now, like I said, we'll be working in those small groups and working with the city as well to engage them in the permit process. So we're ready to bid at the end of the winter. And take it to board, and we're thinking about starting construction in the spring of 2023, which will give us a spring of 2025 opening. So this is our last large group community meeting, but we will meet again, like I say, in these small groups, and as well as have a big hurrah for this groundbreaking coming up in spring of 2023. So it's been a great collaborative process, and we look forward to continue this journey.
Wonderful. And
before we leave, Ms. Bell, I just wanted to publicly say a huge thank you to Mr. Aaron Johnson, who has done everything in his power for me to be able to see this project step by step and to be able to understand it. COVID hasn't kept him away. He's been to the building and discussing things and helping me to better see the layout of the campus and things coming together. So he's been really, really good at doing that. And I really appreciate that and hope that we will continue to do that.
fantastic. Let me ask you, Trustee Foreman, as we're wrapping up, do you have any closing remarks?
Well, thank you. And very quickly, I'll just say thanks to the team for doing good work. I look forward to you getting back with the principal on some of the questions and concerns that might be raised tonight. And there'll be other questions as we go along this process. That's all a part of the deal. And I do appreciate you being open and willing to listen and understand. We want and expect the very best in the new Atwell. So thank you very much.
Fantastic. And thank you for joining us tonight, Trustee Foreman. Edie Wiggum, would you like to have any closing remarks?
Thank you. I just echo the sentiments of Trustee Foreman. I look forward to great results, and I think the plans are beautiful. If we could get some of those minor details, I think we're in for a treat. I think the students in that community are well deserving of this wonderful design and beautiful building. And as we go forward educating them, I look forward to great work. So thank you. Thank you also, Brent, for your work, as well as the architects and other members of the team.
Okay. Thank you. And of course, last but never least, Ms. Whitfield.
Oh, I just echo Dr. Wiggum's sentiments. I think us being able to have these types of meetings is great. Just to hear everyone's voice. I'm only one person, one woman, and I can't do it all by myself. And so we lean to the community, we lean to the trustee, we lean to everyone for your input. We are here to listen and to make sure that the school is exactly what the community would have it be. So thank you guys for partnering with us.
Okay, great. And as we said before, this meeting is has been recorded and will be shared on the Bond website, as well as, of course, it's being broadcast live on Facebook. If you know of people who are unable to join us tonight and want to have information, please have them to visit our Bond website. The website for the Atwell project is www.dallasisd.org/the-new-Atwell. That's THENEWATWELL. Or you can simply visit Bond 2020 website on the Dallas ISD web as well. But please be sure to share information. We want to hear from you. We've enjoyed this process. And the website will be updated by close of business tomorrow with this particular video presentation in both Spanish and English. The presentation itself will be available. And we just look forward and thank you so much for helping us to develop and to design the new W.H. Atwell Law Academy. Wishing you a very safe and warm evening, and thank you again. Goodbye.
Good night.
Night.